got through that whole process. So the more years you spend in the military, it becomes a culture. It becomes a way.
Second nature.
Second nature. So yeah, so we really depend on that training to shape character and values. So many of our young men who are joining in their teens, they basically grow up in the military. They just develop values that are very strong. And the level of commitment is realized when you see them in the field doing what they're supposed to do. So nurture has a very important role to play in creating heroes. And just to stress, in our army, we identified Major General Fred Rwigema as the supreme hero. But there are several others who are within the category of the unknown soldier who sacrificed their lives. And I want to stress why. After the death of General Fred Rwigema, the struggle continued. That's a very important point. The struggle continued in the sense that there are many students, young men and women, who left school, even after the death of the leader, who left school in Uganda and several parts, in Burundi and elsewhere, and joined the struggle despite the setback. That is an extraordinary act. And they knew that if the leader can be killed in battle, they could be killed too. But they still pursued their goal, as you rightly put in the definition. That's why this unknown soldier covers quite a wide spectrum of actors in the military. Yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, nature, yes, we are born in a certain way, but we can also be nurtured to be heroes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything to add on that one?
Thank you. I believe to put it in a more clarified way, there's altruism and heroism.
Yes.
Yes. So basically, some heroic acts also are altruist acts because it's sacrifice, selflessness, but in what state? You talked about conducive environment in the face of adversity. As much as we can be, nurtured, you went to a good school, you were trained, but how do you translate that in face of adversity? And I think that's where the difference comes in.
So no adversity, no altruism.
I believe so. I am very controversial when it comes to that, because at the end of the day,
people are entitled to their own opinion, and the more opinions we have, I think the richer we are.
We have very many people doing good deeds. So, but does everyone who does a good deed becomes a hero? That's where the question mark is. And that's basically altruism, selflessness.
So if my life is not in danger, there's no way I can become a hero. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying your deeds in face of adversity.
Yes. Perseverance.
It doesn't always have to be danger, but what are the challenges that you're facing? We have a lot of people, let's say in the medical field, who are serving, curing diseases. But now let's talk about a virus that's killing people actually working in an hospital. Do you stay doing that or do you run away? So now it's adversity, it's challenges that surrounds that.
Okay, so your life doesn't have to be in danger. I'm trying to understand. So what you're saying is if something is too easy, then there's no room for heroism. But if you're able to overcome the many challenges that come on your way to actually achieve greater heights, only then can we talk about heroism.
I think I agree with her. I agree with her. It has
also,
to be extraordinary.
Yes,
it has to be extraordinary.
And most of the times, altruistic actions will remain unrecognized. Because most of the times, talk about religious people, they do good deeds, but they believe that if, your right hand gives, then the left shouldn't know. So basically, most of these good deeds will go unknown. And there's no way we shall know that you did a heroic act, because
Nobody
you
talks about
personally
it.
don't even want anyone to know that. So I believe we can draw a line between altruism and heroism in that kind of way. Whatever you do in face of adversity, but also that selflessness in vis-a-vis challenges and for the greater good. Yes.
So nature or nurture, do you have
Yeah,
something to add
yes,
on
I
that?
want to say that I can combine both,
Yeah.
but I add more specifically what should be put emphasis on. It's not on the same weight.
Okay.
If you depend on nature, it depends on the culture of the country. Because most of the people in Rwandan context, heroism is a nature. Yeah, we are born with. It is a heritage. We are just getting it from
In our genes.
Yeah, our genes. Because of the culture we had, we knew that nothing is beyond your country, and nothing you can't sacrifice more than you can sacrifice for your country of your people.
But that sounds like nature to me,
Yes,
because
maybe
it's
nature,
values
values
we
you have,
receive from.
nature. So if you get the nature from where people are getting from the heritage, from our people, like even take an example before Corona era, all Rwandan boys were supposed to be in the military.
Yes.
Knowing that they will serve their country. And no reward and no pay for that thing, but it was compulsory.
Okay.
Since it was compulsory, scientists just in their value, they don't need to be taught. That's the way it is. That's even today, we are somehow different from other military organizations in the area or over the world, because they wonder how Rwandans do their things in different ways. It's because they are inborn. They are not forced. Though they are given trainings, they are saying it is an additional because it is within them. But you will find other areas where they don't take it as a nature, they just take it as a profession and then just live like the way it is. So even the question comes like the way they used to ask us, is heroism born or just taught? We also combine the two.
Your favorite TV shows are on YouTube. Enjoy the latest releases.
I am trying to protect the Imperium.
For providing them the one thing they interact with every day.
But for more importance, not born with. Because if it could be the case, we would have get the heroes from the same family. You can work for it. That's what we encourage people. Heroism, you can work for it, irrespective of the family where you are coming from, irrespective of where you are, irrespective of level where you can, but you fight for it, you strive for it, you need to work for it. That's the heroism. So for that thing we combine, but outweighing depending on the way we see according to the trend, according to the culture of the country, and according to see what do we want.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, on the issue of being born with a trait, I will still insist that culture, Rwandese culture, is still something of the environment rather than something you're born with. Therefore, the heroism is talking about is more to do with the way you're nurtured as a society.
Yes.
You see? So the Rwandese in general, for generations and generations, it's a cultural trend that men are supposed to join the army, they're supposed to serve their country, they're supposed to be patriotic. And so those traits, those values are passed on from generation to generation, but they're still within the realm of nature, not nature, as a people. That's the first point. But I'm glad you corrected that at the end. Now, on the point that she raised about adversity,
Yes.
I want to stress that in Gen Z, the last category,
Yes.
acts of great importance to a society or to humanity,
Yes.
such as getting a virus,
The
A
vaccine for a virus,
Right.
or making a very important innovation, like many of these technological innovation that will save humanity. One, you can claim that is adversity, but sometimes people do it even when they are not under threat.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just want to help humanity. So it's about being humane, not being threatened.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to draw that distinction.
Yeah.
To say you can be a hero,
Yes.
even when you're not directly involved,
Yeah.
Or
not
affected.
threatened,
Yeah.
but you feel you have a desire to do something positive.
In
to
the
a
face of
society.
adversity.
In the face of others'
doesn't really
adversity.
have to be a threat to you, but a threat to other people.
To somebody.
Yes,
somewhere,
and back to the point of nurture and the culture that Afanda was talking about, this, you can see how it changes over time because, you know, culture is not just constant, but
not static,
It,
yeah.
Yes, it evolves, it grows. And now you can see that we have moved on from that of, you know, military and being it compulsory to join the army, but now we have evolved to unity. We have evolved to resilience as Rwandans after the tragedy that we've met. So it really shows that it's not just nature.
evolved.
It's something that evolves with time. Yes.
Talking about evolving, and Mr. Rwaka, you shared that we have more opportunities of becoming heroes today. Are we producing enough heroes today compared to the conducive environment, to the training that our military is getting, to the education that we're getting in universities, to the peace that we do have, to good nutrition that we enjoy? Are we really, is that at par with the number of heroes we're creating today? If yes, I think we would all celebrate, but if not, where is the problem? Where has the chain broken? And this is to the three of you. I just want us to understand where we are on that level.
Yeah, on level of getting more heroes,
Yes.
I can say we are in a good track. Because we normally do research on people who did outstanding act in different areas. And we normally get people, we do research, have a lot of a list of personnel that they have carried out outstanding act, and we have that research. And if you see the trend of the country, the ways of how we can award people, if you see people being awarded because of different activities, it is a good chance showing that we still have the room, that we can have more heroes.
Yes.
Again, about the heroes, we normally see that we can have heroes more especially on younger generation, because they have three things maybe I can mention. One, we have people who sacrifice themselves during the liberation struggle. They are still there. They can learn from them. Secondly, they have our heroes who are celebrating today, which normally shows everything possible that any person can be a hero, whether in difficult situation or not. They have given us examples, good example, so that they can learn from them, so they can become hero. They can become hero because of the experience of the heroes we have today. The third one is that the goodwill, good leadership, that always honors, awarding, encouraging people of becoming hero, working on the values that we need to have. If you see all people have their values, need to work on this, accountability, transparency, all those things that are put in place are helping people to work on the trend, to work on the target, to work to achieve something. So we have a hope and a wish that we will be having more heroes because we have good direction that helps people to achieve a lot in terms of becoming heroes or be awarded different medals.
So we're talking about hope and we're talking about being on track. But as people say, numbers do not lie. Do we have the numbers? Or are we hoping to get the numbers? Obviously, any of you can chip in. Do we have enough numbers compared to the input? Because nowadays we talk about input and output. The input is the education, is the military training, as I said earlier, is the food that we eat, is the good weather that we do have. Is that commensurate to the output we're getting in terms of creating heroes or noticing heroes or reporting heroes to channel?
I think he tried to show that you don't have to actually to be categorized at the highest level as a hero, but there are several other awards like you could get for different acts, medals being one of them. And I think we are a bit harsh on ourselves. For instance, I know there are several people who deserve to be heroes in the military, but we are modest people in the military. And so we try not to create too many heroes or boast about what we did. So yeah, there are people out there, but we are very critical in trying to identify.
Yeah, sure.
You know, who is supposed to be in whatever category. But for the last one, Indians,
that one you need to get.
people of great importance. I'm telling you, we have to work on that.
Yeah, sure.
We have to work on that, and it's doable.
Yeah.
How?
Because people are doing it abroad. People are studying every day, innovating different things. And so I think they have to do a lot of work in identifying people who have had a significant impact on a society. And then, you know, bring them out. I don't think that Rwandese, this whole community of ours, we have failed to get a person who has had a very significant impact. It should be a person, so we should do more research.
Well,
Maybe we're too modest.
I believe it's also factual because they have to go through research. It's not something that we can wake up and say we have, for example, how many people who are supposed to be heroes. It's procedural and it requires research. But like Afande said, we also need to give grace to ourselves. And like he said, for example, for the youth, we grew up seeing the actual heroes in front of us, and I believe that they have set a great example and a very good ground for us to be able to work towards this. And like I said again, let's give ourselves grace. And I believe that people are very modest. Rwandans are really working hard, and like we were saying, you can see very many selfless acts in different domains that could easily classify as heroic acts, but again, procedures and research, also some people don't necessarily feel like.
Yeah, maybe to add on Ingenzi, just to clarify more about that, Ingenzi have carried out research, and we have some candidates there.
Good.
But at this extent,
There we go.
But at this extent, I cannot say.
Cannot reveal.
Cannot reveal.
It's still confidential information.
It is still confidential until the competent authority has approved it. Yes. But I want to assure you that we have done research on that.
Good. It's in the pipeline.
It's a pipeline. But as you said, we have we can get more heroes because since you have extended, the criteria are no longer based on one, but depending on different domains, whether in science and technology, whether in education, whether in economics, or economy of the country, whether political and social. So we have extended the area. We can say we can have more.
Okay. Now let's move to the preservation of this history. Because we all know that it's important for the future generations to know about heroism, to know about Rwandan heroes, because when you watch the social media and other platforms, sometimes you don't see our heroes, you see some other people's heroes. Are we doing enough as media? Are we doing enough as teachers? Are we doing enough as military to be able to keep that legacy alive?
Maybe I don't think I've done enough, a lot in terms of making awareness of our heroes, because we normally do awareness in January up to maybe March. But we have tried a lot to invest in younger generation by making them to understand our heroes. One of the things we did, we opened the club of heroism in the schools, primary and secondary school, higher institutions and universities and higher institutions, 25 among them. Then also we are now working to see how we can also open those clubs, heroism club, in other remaining schools. We also managed to have the younger generation through associations and organizations visiting National Heroes Mausoleum at Remera. Now we have reached to the extent that we can receive more than 1,000 per month people coming to visit National Heroes Mausoleum. So we started with youth, then later on we keep on going to other institutions. But awareness is not on the high level, but we are trying our best to work with other stakeholders. And if you see in the military, we normally work together with them, more especially during Heroes Day and Liberation in the 4th July. Those things that we do, though we have not seen that it has been on the high level, but at least it has been known. Secondly, we try to celebrate National Heroes Day in Rwanda and the community abroad. Now since 2 to 3 years. If you go to all embassies outside the Rwanda and the community abroad and their friends, they do celebrate National Heroes Day. And I think General Ronald knows himself, so always we present talk shows outside so that they do that. So it is a ways of making awareness, but we keep on making it, and maybe within some specific period of time shall have done a lot in terms of it. If you consider 10 years to 10 years back, even those things has not been done, but now at least we're on the good level of making awareness on that.
Personal level or in our institutions, in our families, are we keeping the legacy
without
alive?
necessarily connecting history to heroism, but rather collecting our history as it is, the Liberation War history. We began with the campaign against genocide museum. I think, I hope you have visited it.
I have.
It's quite a good museum that explains, of course, we begin with the tragic history at the main museum where, you know, it's a genocide museum in Gisozi. Then after that, all our guests are given the opportunity to visit. Students, guests, and other people from abroad will be able to visit the campaign against genocide museum to see what we did. And by the way, those are acts of heroism too. Stopping a genocide. Many people died in the process. And they fall within the category of the unknown soldier. Part of the modesty I was talking about. But there are specific individuals who really played a fundamental part in stopping the genocide, including our president, who also wants to be part of the modest group. But, you know, heroes are there. I mean, the description is out there for you to determine. And so we are working on our history from the beginning of the struggle all the way to the campaign against genocide and the liberation. And in the entire trail, we identify extraordinary acts that were performed by individuals, but they still fall within the unknown soldier. And then, of course, beyond that, we have other operations that we are carrying out even today. And I'm glad that Waka mentioned that it's not about those who were killed in a battle, who lost their lives in pursuit of specific objectives. It's also about those who could have lost their lives. So heroism is much bigger than that. Even those who could have lost their lives are part of that category of the unknown soldier. So we have the history, we are writing it, and we want the youth to, you know, to get knowledge of it through, of course, doing these tours and also reading books, because we are now writing books We've begun writing books about it. And
Maybe before we head to the end of the show, I'd like to hear from Divine. What are we doing as young people? I'm counting myself as young people because I'm with you now. What are we doing to make sure this legacy stays alive?
Yes, thank you very much. Young people have taken initiatives to preserve the legacy, of course, but I believe we can still do more. Going back to books, literature and academia goes hand in hand. I believe that's where now Channel steps in, to invest in literature, in research, but also now that we have the clubs, how do we disseminate this information through plays, books, and all that? But we also have initiatives, very good ones from young people. We have Ingabo Museum. It's up in Rebero, a very young person initiative that is showcasing now heroism through art. And we have very many students visiting, young people visiting and learning about Rwandan history. Also, the heroism that we're talking about. But that's not enough as well. Because if you look at the whole structure is that we start talking about heroism mid-January and then February, and then it ends in March. But it's really something that we could invest in and disseminate the information through schools, because it starts with the young people. I'm very convinced that the older generation have lived through this and they really know what it means and the implication of that. But how about the young generation and the young people? And that's where the focus should be. And I believe that if we invest in them and give them chances, because I've realized when you give young people chances to do it themselves, they actually do it better.
Thank you very much. Now, what do you have for us on the 1st of February? What can we expect in brief?
Yeah, 1st Feb, we have 2 things that it is need every person in Rwanda to participate. One, the celebration will be done on Modugudu level or village level, so we need to participate on village level. Secondly, we have the national level event. That one, it will be on national level on the selected invitees, so they will attend according to the way it is planned. But not only the first, we have Heroism Month started on 6th January up to 31st. We planned different activities. There is a culture show, Gitaramo, Kanchigari 31st. There is also different tournaments in sports. We want to tell people that you participate, and I encourage them to participate all planned activities in this Heroes Day 31st celebration.
Now we're wrapping up. Time is not on our side. If we can take maybe 20, 15 seconds to leave a message with our audience, starting with you, Brigadier General.
Yeah, I will summarize by saying that, being a hero is something, as we put it from the definition, that anybody can be, as long as you put yourself towards meeting specific objectives with steadfastness in the face of challenges. And whether through adversity or whether through humanity, because that's also very critical, we can all play a very fundamental role in
Your 10 seconds are over, sir. Now,
yes, now to the youth, we've been given a very great foundation. Let's put it to use. Be heroes. Thank you.
Yeah, I can say to be a hero is possible, so long as you can follow the values that can make you a hero. You can be a hero.
thank you so much for your words of wisdom. And with that, dear viewers, now we come to the end of today's show. It was The Summit, and I'm Emmanuel Munyarukumbuzi. Please do enjoy the rest of the program Rwanda Television has in store for you. And I cannot complete this show without thanking the production team, the technical team that made this program possible for you. For now, it's a bye-bye, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.